I'm going to start by telling you my name is Carolyn Mealy, and I lost my son, Zachary, to an overdose February 2016. And this story doesn't get any easier for me to tell. I have 6 children, so I have to watch them grieve every day too, so it's really hard. And it's really hard for me. Losing a child is the ultimate sacrifice that a mother can make. And I've learned that the hard way. It's hard for me every day. But when Zachary lost his life, he had been clean for 3 years. So I thought that we were through it. And I thought that he was going to be okay. And unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Zachary left me a grandson, though, and he's here today. So that was one good thing that we have from him. But when I lost Zachary, I was just outraged because there's so many kids dying. And just doesn't seem like anybody was doing anything about it. You see children, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, teenagers dying in the paper every day, and it's just not normal that this is happening in our community, or any community. It's happening all over the world. It's an epidemic, and nobody's saying anything, nobody's doing anything, and I had a teacher from the Williamsport School District contact me probably 6 or 7 months after I lost Zachary to ask me to share my story so that she could educate her students. And so that's how I got started with my drug awareness program, Saving Lives for Zachary. We made a video and so that she could show it in her classroom, and it went viral. And so we started this program, Saving Lives for Zachary, with the help of my kids and my family. We do events at the Trade and Transit Center mostly, and I bring in different speakers, and we do discussion forums and to help raise awareness and educate. I've spoken at different places at schools and for Nurses Week, and just to share my story so that people can be more aware of really what this problem is. There's so much misinformation going around about it. My son didn't want to be addicted to heroin, but he was. And he was the most loving and emotional child that I had. He would research heroin addiction and detox and what it would take for him to detox and what it would take for him to be in rehab and what it would take for him to be clean. And he would show me articles every day. He would send me these articles and say, look at this, Mom, read this. He didn't want this. He wasn't out on the streets. He wasn't robbing stores. He was in my home. And he was crying, and he didn't want to be addicted to heroin. And there's probably so many more people out there that are the same way that my Zachary was. And that's what people need to know about this addiction. It's so many families, and all kinds of families, and from all kinds of backgrounds. And it's not just, people on the streets, in back alleys, shooting up heroin in their arms. It's all over our world, from all kinds of different classes of families. And they may choose to do it the first time, but once they do it one time or even 2 times, it's an addiction that they have to keep using in order to keep those symptoms away from from their bodies. Their bodies are physically addicted, and that's the problem. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. That happens to them when they use heroin. And that's why we have the problem that we have today. Because it's just not something that they can just stop. You could just say, why don't they stop? Why don't they stop? Why do they keep doing this? It's not that easy. It really isn't. And, we have a bigger problem today with synthetic drugs, with, cocaine and marijuana, all being laced with all kinds of different drugs like, carfentanil and fentanyl. It's becoming a much bigger issue. We have to sit back and think about, why 30 years ago, when people were using heroin, why weren't they dying like they're dying today? We have, drug overdoses happening every single day. There's 144 people dying every day of a drug overdose. And that didn't happen 20 or 30 years ago. There was still heroin around. So why is it so different today? And it is because of, the heroin is much stronger. It's being laced with stuff. So I just ask that we come together as a community. We have to decrease the stigma. We all need to come together to try to stop this problem, and we need to approach it in a loving, kinder way. And we all, obviously the treatment programs need to be better, they need to be longer. We need to help each other. And, there's many different programs out there, and we need to, let people know that we're here. And if we're all here coming together and we're all, showing our love and support, then I think that the people that need the help will be more likely to seek it if, they know that we're available for them. I remember when it wasn't Project Bald Eagle then, but it was the Heroin Task Force first started. They would go around town and they would have different meetings in different parts of town, maybe one in Muncie, one in Hughesville, one in Jersey Shore, but there was one on a monthly basis. And when Zachary was first started using, and his addiction lasted for about 11 months, I would go to those meetings. And I think that it really helped Zachary become clean because he knew that I was involved. So if our loved ones know that we're involved and we care, and we're not just going to throw them out there in the streets, then I think they're more likely to become clean. I don't think that tough love works in this instance because this is such a physical addiction that once they become addicted, it's a physical need. It's not anything that you can say, like I said before, that you can just stop using. It takes medical help too. I also think that, we need to educate the kids at a younger age, and they need to know that no drugs are good. Marijuana, cocaine, it all starts from the bottom and works its way up. They want to go to bigger and better things. But the dealers, that's the other thing, we need to deal with the dealers, the people that are out there selling the drugs to our kids too. There needs to be harsher laws and penalties. Now, I just heard today about a new law that they're going to start with the babies that are born addicted, that there's going to be mandatory reporting for babies that are born addicted, that we have to report those mothers. They're looking into that. So there's, the world is, trying to solve the problem. They really are. So it's just a slow progress. But my goal is to stop the deaths so that we don't have so many people walking around grieving and so many people losing their children, so they're not feeling the way I have to feel every day. Because losing a child is not an easy life, and It'll be with me forever. It'll be with my children forever, and I don't wish it on anybody. So if you know somebody that's using, just please stick by their side and try to get them help. And that's really all I have to say. Thank you.